Hey, my name is Lydia LaRue, and today I would like to talk to you a little bit about pushing past pride. So when I was preparing for this sermon, I got to thinking about my own life and what are some times in my life that pride kind of took advantage and took over. And I got to thinking about my senior year of high school. I played softball. I was a big sports person. But in the middle of that, I would either be catcher or center fielder because I had an arm. I could throw far and hard. And we were practicing one day on the practice field of the football field at my high school. And my coach was just hitting some balls. We were catching, throwing them back. Just playing around, not even practicing, but just having fun. But during that day, he hit one past all of us, and we were collecting everything, collecting all the equipment, trying to pick up and put everything away. Well, one of the balls went to the other end of the field. It was in the end zone of the other end. So I ran down there, I grabbed the ball. He turned around and said, "Bird, throw it," which that's from center field fence to home plate. It's the same throw I make every game multiple times. So that was nothing. I literally said to myself, I can do this. I got this. I reared back and threw and pop, pop, pop. I tore one of the muscles in my elbow where my muscle attaches to my ligament. I ripped that to shreds. Not knowing going into my senior year, I would end up playing 2 ball games instead of the entire season. I let my pride, knowing I got this, take over, and it was horrible. So an unpleasant emotion like pride might push us past what we know to the wrong direction. Pride can result in shame. So if we look at the Bible, Proverbs chapter 11, verse 2, pride leads to disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. That's the New Living Translation, by the way. So we live in a time where arrogance is lauded as virtue. What does lauded mean? It means accepted. It's looked at just like you're better than because you're arrogant. I'm honored to be, I'm proud to be, you get it. But King Solomon, on the other hand, he was brought to a low place, and it resulted in shame. When I think of public figures that have been brought to shame with pride, I think of Pete Rose. Many of you may not know who Pete Rose is. Pete Rose was a Major League Baseball player. And in 24 seasons that he played on the Reds, the Phillies, and the Montreal Expos. Rose was a 17-time All-Star, 3-time World Series champion, 3 times batting champion, sorry about that, and the National League MVP multiple times. But he was banned from playing National League ball, and he was banned from the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. You know why? Because he violated a rule. He gambled. His pride led him to believe that the rules didn't apply to him, and he had to suffer the consequences because of it. We need to have a reality check. We need to understand that pride has taken over our lives and assists us to avoid situations where we could be dishonored or shamed. We have to stand above the pride. Pride ends with humiliation, but with humility brings honor. That's Proverbs 29:23. The arrogant will eventually become humble. It's only a matter of time. Instead of waiting until we are ashamed in front of others, we should handle it right away in private. Pride comes with conflict. Proverbs 13:10 says, "Pride leads to conflict." That's pretty simple. Those who take advice are wise. Those who believe they are superior due to pride have a hard time getting along with others. It was pride that drove King Hezekiah to flaunt his wealth to his adversaries and entice them to invade. You know, thinking of another public figure, we all know that we lost one of the greatest basketball players, Kobe Bryant. But did you know that when he became a member of the Lakers, his teammate Shaquille O'Neal talked to him about passing more? Shaquille asked him, said, "Hey, there's no I in team, Kobe." Kobe responded, "But there's an M-E." But O'Neal looked back and said, "You gotta pass more." Kobe said, "I'm not gonna pass, tell him to rebound." Because he knew his skill and he was proud of his skill. But in the end, yeah, he's one of the greatest. But at the same time, he lost some teammates, friendships, and the response and the respect at the time. We need to recognize God's offering by submitting to him in humility. I ought to fall on my knees in utter amazement and worship because God's atonement and my awareness of him. True humility and fear of the Lord leads to riches, honor, and a long life. Proverbs 22:4. More than just conflict of others and a public shame can occur from the failure to accept pride. Additionally, it provokes God's anger. It leads to discipline. Proverbs 16:5 says, "The Lord detests the pride. They will surely be punished." We are aware that God will not be merciful of the proud. But on the other hand, the proud person will not acknowledge the significance of God in their life, the same way that a humble person will. When I think of little tasks that I do as a mom around the house, keeping my house done, laundry, stuff like that, it's a never-ending struggle to keep everything caught up. I have 2 little boys. My 8-year-old thinks he's a 16-year-old girl. He changes every 2 seconds. He don't like this outfit. He throws it in the dirty clothes. I'm like, you barely had it on. But he thinks it's dirty. So constantly, I'm having to keep up with laundry and keep up with everything else in life because my house is never clean with little ones running around. But it's a never-ending battle, just like pride. It's a never-ending battle that has to take more priority in our life to stay on top of. Failure to acknowledge that pride causes God to become angry with us can have more consequences than only embarrassment in front of others. But pride can be defeated. It is imperative that you deal with pride if it is an issue in your life. You must overcome pride to escape the pitfalls of shame, conflict, and enlarge God's retribution, his punishment. Thankfully, God has not abandoned us. He has not withdrawn from us, and he is the answer to all of our problems, including pride. So today, I hope that you can fight pride in your life. Thanks.